came up with the me bounce thing, y'all ate that up. Because rebounds, me bounce, creep bounce, key bounce, T bounce, C bounce, anything that comes off that board, it's mine. it's
demanding a full roster shakeup, openly criticizing teammates, and missing games while focusing on sneaker sales has finally caught up with someone. Angel Reese is now seeing firsthand that the Chicago Sky front office doesn't place the same value on her personal brand that she does. Reality just hit hard.
Angel Reese plans on remaining with the Chicago Sky after Rocky in the 2025. You may be like, Rocky, question mark? Yeah, you don't remember? She threw all of her teammates under the bus and then ran the bus over them. In that interview that came out, I think it was the Chicago Sun-Times. And her teammates, nah, they wasn't having it.
The organization sent a loud and unmistakable signal by naming Camila Cardoso as their Player of the Year. That decision served as a serious wake-up call for someone who believed she was untouchable. It clearly shows where Reese actually stands within the franchise and why her long-term future in Chicago may be far more uncertain than many expected. The Barbie image is running into the wall of professional accountability.
She may not want to come back, or maybe she's decided I want to come back, but do the Chicago Sky actually want her back?
Should the Chicago Sky consider trading Angel Reese after everything that has unfolded? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Things are officially getting tense in Chicago, and for once, the drama has nothing to do with a missed layup or a technical foul. The Sky finally stopped protecting feelings and made it clear who truly matters to them by naming Camila Cardoso their Player of the Year. Think about that for a moment. While Angel Reese focused on branding herself and leaning into the Barbie persona, the Sky evaluated on-court results and chose Cardoso as the centerpiece. 40 games played, 15 Player of the Game honors, 6 Player of the Week awards, 2 Player of the Month selections. Cardoso showed up consistently, handled her responsibilities, and didn't feel the need to turn internal matters into a public spectacle.
So, you see this right here. Camila Cardoso was named the Magellan Player of the Year. Chicago Sky. So, she was named the Player of the Year right here for the Chicago Sky. Right? 15 times Chicago Sky Player of the Game. All right, 6 times Chicago Sky Player of the Week. 2-time Chicago Sky Player of the Month. I love this particular statistic. 40 games played. Woo! A lot can be taken from the 40 games played statistic, right? Because let's be honest, here's Angel. 30 games played.
That 40 games played number tells you a lot, doesn't it? Now compare that to Angel Reese's 30 appearances. The timing of this announcement couldn't be more fitting. It came immediately after Reese went on a media run with the Chicago Tribune, openly explaining why she felt her teammates weren't good enough. She told reporters that adding good and great players was non-negotiable for her future with the team. Imagine being in that locker room. You're a professional who spent years in the league, and a player who still hasn't developed a reliable jump shot is publicly implying that you're just someone she has to settle for and that the roster needs to be torn down.
It's very possible the Chicago Sky front office was questioning the injury themselves. Would they admit that? Of course, never. Well, Rhodes, are you saying that Angel wasn't hurt? No. I'm just saying maybe they gave it the fuzzy eyeball just a little bit. In light of the fact that the team was bad, second year in a row, precedent from the rookie year and unrivaled of just stopping, not playing anymore. And then it happens yet again.
Wasn't subtle about it either. Reese made her point with all the finesse of a sledgehammer. She said she wouldn't accept repeating the same results and essentially positioned herself as an unofficial general manager, claiming she could help recruit elite talent to Chicago. The level of confidence required to say that out loud is honestly remarkable. Wanting to win is one thing. Blaming your coworkers for losing while you lead the league in turnovers is another. Reese directly questioned the quality of her teammates in public, sending a clear message to the entire locker room that she viewed them as insufficient.
Was warranted. She did quit on them. She did refuse to go in games. Hey, I'm just saying. She just kind of played them when she said, oh, I guess I got to go back because I'm under contract. Like, she don't want to be
Then
there.
there's the issue of disrespect toward veterans. Courtney Vandersloot is a proven legend, a 2-time champion, 5-time All-Star, and a player who understands how winning actually works. Reese still felt comfortable suggesting the team couldn't rely on her because of age and durability. Vandersloot was forced to respond publicly, reminding everyone that her age isn't a weakness and that she's returning stronger than ever. When veterans are pushed into defending themselves in the media, the locker room isn't just damaged, it's burning. The front office had already gone out of its way to support Reese. They traded for Ariel Atkins to provide exactly the veteran leadership Reese said she needed. Draft picks were moved. Roster decisions were made with Reese's growth in mind. Yet she still chose to complain publicly that it wasn't enough. The franchise backed her vision, and she responded by saying it failed to meet her standards. Vandersloot's response highlighted the contrast between real leadership and entitlement. She stood up for the entire team without ever naming Reese directly. Other veterans took notice and began questioning whether Reese truly understood leadership or simply wanted star treatment and better numbers. How many players are really going to take Angel Reese seriously after hearing her comments about Courtney Vandersloot? How many players around the league are excited to join someone who openly throws teammates under the bus with just a few games left in the season? Reese effectively told the entire league that her teammates were holding her back, and everyone heard it loud and clear. It fractured trust, raised doubts, and left players wondering whether their supposed star wanted teammates or replacements. Building a championship-level team started to feel nearly impossible under these conditions. Then came the disappearing act. While the Chicago Sky were fighting to keep their playoff hopes alive, Reese became almost invisible. Her injury status felt more secretive than classified information. One day it was a back issue. The next she was listed as day-to-day for weeks with no real updates or medical clarity. Coaches couldn't set rotations. Teammates had no idea who would be available on game night. The uncertainty created confusion that bled into every practice and every game plan. The back injury explanation began to lose credibility when people noticed what Reese was doing while she was supposedly sidelined. Instead of sitting on the bench supporting her teammates, she traveled to Indiana to promote her Reebok sneaker line. She posted bold comments about taking over a rival's territory, while her own team was getting blown out back in Chicago. Her social media was filled with hype for her shoe launch, treating it like the biggest moment of the season, all while the Sky were spiraling. Fans started calling her the Vanishing Barbie because she seemed to disappear the moment accountability was required. The lack of transparency only made things worse. Other teams provided clear injury reports and realistic recovery timelines. Chicago kept repeating day to day, as if they were guarding top-secret information. Then came the technical fouls, which painted an even uglier picture of Reese's mindset. She picked up 8 technicals over the season, triggering an automatic suspension. The final one occurred after she struck Aaliyah Edwards in the head during a rebounding battle. The league didn't hesitate to act. The suspension landed right before a crucial matchup against the Indiana Fever, the very game everyone wanted to see. Once again, Reese's lack of discipline hurt the team at the worst possible moment. The Sky were forced to go even further. Reese was suspended for conduct detrimental to the team based on comments she made during league-mandated media sessions. While the organization handled it internally, the wording alone spoke volumes. She had crossed lines that professional franchises simply cannot ignore. The half-game suspension felt like a weak compromise, revealing a front office caught between holding a problem player accountable and relying on her star power for ticket sales. Here's what truly exposed Reese's impact on winning. The Sky often looked better without her. The offense moved with more pace. Possessions felt cleaner and less frantic. The team didn't appear weighed down by someone demanding touches only to give the ball away. Despite missing large chunks of the season, Reese still led the league in turnovers, 101 turnovers in just 26 games. That's a historic number, just not in a good way. Nearly 20% of the time, her shots inside 9 feet were blocked. As critics bluntly put it, efficiency was not her strength. Teammates began questioning where her priorities actually were. She demanded roster upgrades while repeatedly being unavailable herself. Veterans who had spent years building winning cultures watched Reese put brand deals ahead of team success. The contrast was impossible to miss. She wanted better teammates but couldn't consistently take the floor with the ones already there. The players' only meeting that reportedly happened to address Reese's comments should never have been necessary. Professionals shouldn't have to confront their supposed leader about basic loyalty. Rachel Bannum summed up the frustration perfectly when she said, "I think I just don't really care. I'm so over all this." That wasn't sarcasm, it was exhaustion. Ariel Atkins, the player acquired specifically to support Reese, was forced to acknowledge the situation publicly, saying, "We are aware of it. We are addressing it." Even head coach Tyler Marsh admitted that handling Reese's comments became a top-down organizational issue. The locker room fractured almost instantly. Chemistry collapsed because reliability is the foundation of team sports. Players need to know who will show up. Coaches need to know who's available to execute game plans. Fans need to believe their star genuinely cares about winning. Reese's pattern of disappearing shattered all of that. She created an environment where no one could rely on the supposed centerpiece of the franchise. Chicago learned the hard way that a player who demands excellence from everyone else while failing to meet basic professional standards creates chaos at every level of an organization. And while the Sky were drowning in drama, Indiana was quietly showing what real leadership looks like. Their star handled setbacks with complete honesty. When she dealt with an ear injury that affected her hearing during games, she explained it openly. No mystery, no excuses. The Fever always knew where she stood physically and mentally. Even when she couldn't play, she traveled with the team and stayed on the bench, fully engaged. During games, she stayed locked in, cheering for her teammates, reacting to every defensive stop, and remaining emotionally present on every possession. That's the kind of leadership you can't buy with sneaker deals or endorsement money. She consistently praised her teammates for their defensive growth and rebounding effort. She openly highlighted their shooting consistency and called them the most dependable players on the roster. Instead of tearing anyone down, she lifted them up in interviews. She spoke about how connected the group was, how resilient they had become, and how hard they played for one another. That selfless mindset created opportunities that benefited the entire team. What Indiana built quickly became respected across the league. Players stayed late after practice to work on spacing, timing, and chemistry. Respect moved in both directions, creating trust that translated directly into wins. Their growth proved what positive leadership can do. Players who once lacked confidence evolved into some of the most dependable contributors in the league. They shared the ball, created easy scoring chances, and celebrated defensive stops as if they were game-winning shots. Indiana's fan support exploded because people could see something real forming. Attendance numbers surged as games turned into must-watch events. Not because of one star, but because of how the team played together. The Fever sold out arenas nationwide because fans wanted to watch a group that genuinely enjoyed competing alongside one another. That energy became contagious and turned directly into box office success. Their unexpected playoff push didn't happen by accident. Winning habits were established from day one. Accountability started internally before demands were ever placed on teammates. Showing up early, staying late, elevating everyone through effort. That was the blueprint. The Fever went from lottery status to playoff relevance because their star understood a simple truth. Individual success means nothing without team success. Now compare that to Chicago, where the supposed star refused to close games and appeared more focused on forcing her way out than fighting for wins. Reese has been signaling her desire to leave the Sky for months, and her actions have made it clear she no longer wants to be part of the organization. But here's the real question: who is lining up to trade for that? Who wants a player who publicly criticizes her teammates, misses games for brand obligations, leads the league in turnovers, and then expects free agents to blindly trust her vision? Reese didn't just critique the roster. She damaged the foundation of the franchise. How do you trust a teammate who publicly says you aren't good enough? How do you fight for someone who's already told the world you're the problem? Chicago learned the hard lesson that talent without dependability and leadership results in complete dysfunction. That's why the Sky naming Camila Cardoso as Player of the Year was such a powerful statement. It was the ultimate "it's not you, it's us" message directed straight at Angel Reese. The franchise admitted, without saying it outright, that their most hyped player wasn't their best player, or even their most valued one. They chose consistency over chaos, commitment over controversy. Cardoso earned respect through professionalism and reliability, while Reese lost hers through ego and entitlement. The Chicago Sky have clearly reached their breaking point and are shifting their priorities toward players who actually show up and contribute every day. Being a Barbie isn't enough to carry a franchise when efficiency ranks near the bottom of the league and leadership is nowhere to be found. If you enjoyed this breakdown of the turmoil in Chicago and the rise of Camila Cardoso, make sure to hit the like button. Subscribe so you don't miss any updates on the latest WNBA news and drama. And let us know in the comments, do you think Reese will even be on this roster next season? See you in the next one.